What's going on, everybody? We are live. It's day 3 of rehearsals for Eurovision 2021. We've seen lots of countries take to the stage for the first time today, and we'd love to know what you guys think of them. I'm joined by Dominic in Germany and Taman in the Netherlands. How are you two?
I'm good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm good as well.
What about you?
Doing pretty good. We had some issues in the digital press center trying to see some of the rehearsals, but I will do my best to keep people updated if they're interested. So I can't say that I'm surprised to see Sarah O'Halloran here, not just because she is such a regular viewer of our videos, but obviously today was Stefania's day, and we will get to talking about Stefania because she has left quite a big impact. And Filippa seems to agree. Stefania is absolutely gorgeous. The performance is spectacular. And we also got some love from Joanne Johnson. Stefania was my favorite today. And Rye Bailey, again, showing some love for Greece, Serbia, and Austria. So before we get to like favorites, let's just start with the beginning. And obviously, you know, one of the acts that has had so much buzz leading up to this point is San Marino. Let's answer the question that is on everybody's minds if they haven't figured it out already. But it's fun. Do we see Flowrider there?
In this rehearsal, no. Next week, maybe.
Yeah. So this is the thing, because there is a stand-in doing the rapped verse, and the graphics have his name up there. So really, there's no definitive answer. I could see like a number of reasons for this, because obviously, like, if they can keep the momentum, if they can keep the hype going, then why not? But at the same time, I don't think it's as unreasonable as maybe we thought a few days ago, because obviously it's been revealed that Flowrider is taking part in this bikini judging contest. Not taking part, he's judging it. Taking part would be a different thing. But it is a possibility still. I don't know what to make of it. Dominic, what do you make of this?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really get it. I understand the momentum thing, argumentation, but at the same time, I think even Flowrider has to rehearse. And I mean, Senate is the main act, that's for sure, and it makes sense that she's there, obviously. But still, if Flowrider is participating, I kind of expect him to be there for the second rehearsal at least, because otherwise, I don't know, because he also has to get the camera angles and stuff, and where he has to stand and stuff like that. So I really think if he's not showing up in the second rehearsal, I think he's out. But in general, I would say that he's coming because of all the hints they're doing. Like the backing track, I think, is including the Flowrider thing, and like the backing screen. So that wouldn't make any sense if it's just like, hey, Flowrider, and then, hey, his name is, wait, I would have done Don Jiggy.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. So I expect him now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it is important to mention too that it isn't that difficult to swap out graphics. It's very possible that they have an alternate. Because let's say that they were planning on Flowrider to be there definitely, and they were keeping this a secret for the whole time. But then, you know, something coronavirus related came up, and he isn't able to show up in the end after all. So it's very likely that they have an alternate version so that they can, you know, swap that in if needed. But yeah, I mean, I guess you know, the answer is still not very clear for us. I'm going to say it again. Personally, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm actually really much more there for Sanit, because I love what she's done through, you know, from the beginning of her Rotterdam experience, and, you know, really keeping us engaged since last year. I love the fact that she and everyone that she's been working with have really made San Marino noticed this year. And I don't know, how do you feel about that, Tvan? Does it make a difference as Flowrider is there for you?
No, not at all. Like, I'm more of a fan of Zenit than of Flowrider. I don't think his part is that significant to the song, and that brings that much to the song, to be honest. I wouldn't mind another rapper doing it, or it just being swapped out for like an instrumental part or another part by Zenit herself. Yeah, I think they'll do very well anyways, without him or with him.
Yeah, I think so. And I did raise this point in our discussion video about, like, if he's there, what factor does that play into the scoring? And whether or not it's like some people mentioned, like, you know, do people really vote for songs based on those kind of things alone, like a recognizable name? And like, I think that people have had much more superficial reasons for voting for songs, but I take their point. It's not like if you don't like the song already, you're going to vote for it because Flo Rida's there. So obviously something to be discussed there. But for you, Dominic, does it make a difference if he's there?
A bit, yeah, but as you have said, it wouldn't be the main reason to vote for it. Like, I don't like the song. Oh, Florida, okay, winner. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I think the web part is pretty good and it suits well to the song. And it only has like, I think 40 seconds out of 3 minutes. So it's not like it's so dominant within the song. So I really think it would make a tiny difference and elevate it. But not that it wouldn't be possible without him.
Yeah, and I think, you know, perhaps that should be addressed as well, because, you know, it's just so weird to think of this as a factor, the whole Flo Rida factor, as we're going to call it, if something similar happens in the future, because you're absolutely right. It does change things up in an interesting way in the song, especially if, like, let's say that you're a viewer watching this for the first time and he shows up, then it does keep you engaged. And yeah, musically, like, it works, but, you know, again, for me personally, I'm not that bothered whether or not he shows up, and I'm just living for Sanit because I think that she's really made herself an icon already, and I'm very happy for her. Joanne Johnson is saying that she likes San Marino, says it's fantastic. Joral, nice to see you again, and saying if Flo Rida shows up, it will undoubtedly improve their televote, though. Yeah, and I do believe that as well, because again, it's eye-catching, and, you know, he's a household name, maybe not as relevant as he used to be, but it's still, you know, it's eye-catching. And also saying I can say categorically that in my friend group, the mere mention of Flo Rida got them excited about the song. And then he says Flo Rida. Yeah, so I mean, I just wish that we didn't have this, because it's so distracting, and I wish we could just talk about the song, because the song itself is good.
Is it that distracting? I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I don't.
Maybe
No,
because I think the performance was pretty good already, so there wasn't a lot to criticize, at least from the snippet I have seen. So maybe that's why the focus is more on, Flo Rida, will he be there or not? Because then it is like flawless. I think her vocals were great, the styling was good. They adapted a lot of parts from the music video, which makes sense because the music video was pretty good and expensive. Yeah. So why don't you just use the parts which were working? And maybe that's why we were talking about Flo Rida, because, like, well, Senate is already, like, at least in my opinion, qualifying. That's not the thing. And it's only the question, like, will it even get higher than that because of Flo Rida? That's the question. Well,
exactly. And I still think that the inclusion of this kind of eclipses all of the other elements of the song. That's why I feel like it's a little bit distracting. But let's use that as an opportunity to talk about the rest of the elements, as you did, Dominic, because I do think that this is really solid. I hear some people saying that they don't like that she's using vibrato in her voice, and that maybe that's a little bit too, like, classic sounding. To me, it doesn't bother me. How did you feel about her vocals, Tuan?
To be honest, I didn't even really notice it, so no, I don't mind. I love her vocals anyways, because I think she's a great singer. About her outfit, she looks absolutely stunning. The backing dances I had to get used to for quite a while, because, like, they look quite, how do you say it? Abstract, let's put it that way. And the rapper is dressed very well. I don't know if Flo Rida is going to be there, if he would wear the same, but I don't know. I love that they are standing on the spinny thing.
Yes.
And I love her, like, the thing that she's got around her head in the beginning of the performance. That looks very good. It looks abstract, but it looks good.
And she's described that headpiece as a crown, because people keep calling her the freaky queen. And so she took that as an opportunity to you know, embrace that image. And again, like, I really like how she has done something that no one else who would represent San Marino had thought of. Like, just, you know, take the opportunity to engage with Eurovision fans, put out all these covers, do it in an elegant way. And you also mentioned the abstractness of the. I assume you're talking about the outfits of the backup dancers, right?
Yeah, mostly, but just the entire performance is a bit abstract, a bit quirky, a bit weird, but it really works. It really works.
Yeah, and that's also her flavor too, which we saw
Yeah.
in the many Eurovision covers, that she likes having this over the top imagery. And I kind of compare her a little bit to Lady Gaga in the years when Lady Gaga was really about making big statements with what she was wearing. Maybe not maybe not at that exact level, but look, I really like Zenith. Marky Mark is saying, I think this will be San Marino's best result ever without Flowrider. I agree.
Yeah.
Because the song itself is the most competitive song they've ever sent.
Yes, it will be higher than 19th. I mean, hopefully.
Let's not mention the low bar that they have, but but we're all really, really happy with this song, I would say. It got in our Vox verdict thing, it got 18 fuegos, and it had no reactions on the lower end. Nobody disliked it. Nobody was lukewarm about it. Everybody at least liked it. And hopefully that love will be felt by the rest of the Eurovision audience. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but this person is saying, I don't like the masks on the backing dancers. It looked a little bit like Mexican luchadores, like Mexican wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It struck me as a bit odd, but I don't know. I still want to see the full thing, and it doesn't. It's not a make or break factor for me. Milos Gaming saying Serbia and Iceland are the best. They happen to be the two entries that I wasn't able to see much of because of technical issues. And Gerald Techie mentioning something that I can definitely identify with. This year as a whole has basically been by lighting, blue, pink, purple shades. Yes, lots of that. And I'm not surprised because that really goes hand in hand with an 80s aesthetic. So, I mean, obviously still very popular. But let's move on to Estonia now. Dominic, what were your impressions of Estonia?
I was surprised that he made some changes about the performance, because I was pretty much expecting the exact same performance from the national final, including the chains and stuff. But he changed that up, which I like, because I think the chains were a bit distracting. I like his outfit also because it has a reference to the music video, that he has like a bottom-up shirt with an untied tie. Is that correct? Whatever. And
a bow tie.
Bow tie, yeah, which was
Yeah.
untied though. And that makes sense because it really matches the song, and because it's about like a breakup and it's very dramatic, and it wouldn't be like appropriate if he just comes up with a ordinary suit. So that's really cool. I like the thunder, even though like we had thunder in 2019. But it matches the song. It's very dramatic. His vocals were fine, I would say, at least from the snippets, only the tiny, like the small seconds. Yeah, in general, I'm pleased with it. Not sure it's gonna be enough to qualify. I mean, he's in the second spot. The song is better than last year, at least in my opinion, but it's still tricky to get out of the semis. But I think he still has the opportunity to do so after this rehearsal.
Yeah, and we'll get to some of the similar performances a little bit later, but I think this has never been a safe qualifier from the beginning. I know that, Tvan, you're a real big fan of this song. The impression that I'm getting from other people is that they feel a little bit underwhelmed because of certain elements that are missing. Is that how you feel about it?
Yeah, to be honest, I agree. Even though I still love the song, I'm kind of disappointed that the chains aren't there anymore, because I thought that was a really cool element from the national final performance. But apart from that, I think it was fine. It wasn't really anything unexpected or anything special, but it wasn't bad either. I think he could potentially qualify, but I do think it will be a borderline qualifier between 9, 10, and then the bottom.
Yeah,
Six,
it would have to just like edge through. And I wasn't feeling the chains because it felt a little bit too much like a community theater production, and it gets in the way of seeing him. But obviously, some people, I guess, the absence of that for people who have seen the national final performance leaves people wanting a little bit more. One thing that we did see come back was as Dominic mentioned, the flashes of lightning. And I think that it's an aesthetic that fits. I was worried when we.
That was Stuart.
That was Stu.
I'm not sure what he wanted to say, but let's see if he comes back on soon.
Yeah, otherwise we can just continue. Like,
I don't think he's going to come up on anytime soon. The third performance, what was that? Was that
maybe one thing about Estonia. So I think
yeah?
like the stage seemed a bit empty. So he was there by himself, and I was like, maybe it would have been better if he would have included the story from the music video into the
Yeah,
performance. So like
I
with the
agree.
woman having this fight, theoretical, whatever. Because now I was like looking at the stage and I was like, okay, it's quite a big stage, and he's like not filling it up completely. And I think, well, you have the opportunity to include 5 other people. Why don't you do it? Or at least one to have the storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
my issue with it. So maybe he could have done that. I think it's too late for this now, but yeah.
Well, in Estilal in the semifinal, I think he also had a dancer, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
So I think it would have been better if he had brought that dancer to the Eurovision stage because it does look very empty.
I would say in the defense of him and everyone on his team is that this seems like a very difficult song to stage. Because maybe that's just because, again, like some of us who have seen that national selection performance are expecting something to be in place of the elements that have been taken out. But who knows? Again, like it's early. Certain things could be added, and you can change the dynamics alone by changing up the lighting and camera angles. So it could be elevated, but I do think, again, the fact that this isn't necessarily a heavyweight doesn't say much about its qualifying potential. Ry Bailey says that he can't see Estonia qualifying. Jural saying, I kind of miss the chains, to be honest. Now for the second year in a row, we have no chains on you. Chains on you.
I can put a bunch of chains on.
What a great song, and we hope
Ah,
that Armenia comes back. Marky Mark saying, I think putting Uku in the dreaded second slot doesn't inspire confidence in him qualifying, especially sandwiched between Sanit and Benny Cristo's high energy songs. Yeah, and this is always a thing to discuss every year. The person who's in the second spot. However, we have to remember that somebody has to go there, and I remember when we brought this up the first time, we were trying to think of who else would take the second spot, and some people suggested Austria. Dominic, who would it be for you if not Estonia?
yeah, probably Austria for the reasons you were about to say, I guess, because it's like usually second spot is a ballad, isn't it? Like first one is a banger dancer, like, hey, it's Eurovision time, and then second it's like a ballad, and the third one is again like a dance song, which actually fits, like San Marino, and then Estonia, and then Czech Republic. I don't know if it's like fair because Estonia was supposed to be second last year as well with the same performer. So I don't know what's happening there, but I think like the one who is deciding it really is not a fan of him. I don't know. Like it's not a secret that like second spot is very tough, and like having it the second time in a row is a bit like, yeah. I don't want to say unfair, but it's like, wow, it's a hard job for him to get out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix my lighting a bit. I've heard from people though that apparently the more statistically speaking, in the last few years, the more difficult spot to get out of is spot number 4. Yeah, which is interesting. It's fine. So I have to fix my light. It's fine. Let me know. Is there a song that you think would benefit better from being, or maybe wouldn't be compromised in the second spot, like some people feel like Estonia is being compromised?
I think I agree with Dominic. I think Austria would have made a good second spot because after San Marino, which is like very upbeat, very dancey, very quirky, a song like Austria, which is really toned down, a ballad, just him standing on stage with beautiful lighting, singing a song with his amazing voice, really benefit from being after a country like San Marino. So I think it would have been Austria.
So now let's move on to Benny Cristo and Czech Republic. I know how you feel about this fun, and I'm going to be curious to get Dominic's opinion because I don't think I've asked you about that one. But I have to say, because I wanted to see this badly, so I woke up at like five something in the morning, and what we saw was a really dynamic performance. He starts off surrounded by these towers of not LED lights, but like the tubular fluorescent lights. And then this is actually like kind of backstage, and then he walks in between the LED walls, and then the rest of the performance kind of takes place there, and then he walks out to the second stage in the center. We also saw in the backdrop, we saw the kaleidoscope of colors that was in the music video. So like in terms of colors, there's lots going on, and he's dressed very vibrantly. His head is well, not his head. His hair has changed. It's very short, and he's dyed it blonde. And he's serving the energy that I think everybody was expecting and hoping for, at least for people who really like the song. The thing that I'm a bit concerned about is that in terms of movement, it was moving around a lot, and I felt like we went from left to right to left to right to left to right a lot. And I feel like it needs a moment to settle down, and like maybe leading up to the last chorus when the instrumentation drops away, like maybe to have like a more static shot to just kind of take in everything that's happening. Maybe that would have helped absorb it a bit. But Dominic, tell me, how do you feel about Benny Cristo?
Okay, I must say this song is one of the biggest growers for me. So at the beginning I was like, yeah, nice song, it's fine. But now it's really, really growing. It's like stuck in my head. I really enjoy it. So I had high hopes. And from the snippet, I would say they are like they are still there. And I think he's doing a very good job, especially because he has a very easygoing attitude, and he's like just having fun, and he's a fun guy, and I really like that. And that came across even within the snippet. I must say that very good point about the movement. It is always a risk to move that much. I think if your vocals are not affected by it, that's fine, and do it, and it fits to the song. But when it starts to get like shaky and maybe exhausting and stuff, then you should maybe concentrate on the job you are supposed to do, because in the first row you're like a singer, and anything else is like an add-up, And I think maybe that's what's going on here, that he maybe has to focus more on this. And I mean, he has dancers, so it's not like it's static at any way. So he can maybe just shift a little bit to the dancers. Doesn't mean he has to standing still and stuff. But I think that would be a smart move. But honestly, after this snippet, I would say he is a qualifier, in my opinion. And I wasn't that sure about that in the beginning. So I would say he elevated his chances.
That gives me a lot of confidence, because this is one of my favorite entries this year. Before I get to you, Twan, I want to bring up this comment, because I did think about this as well. Jaral saying Benny performs this like there's a live crowd, and unfortunately there is no live crowd yet, and it might fall flat. I saw this definitely as well. He was bringing the kind of energy that he brings when he's performing to tens of thousands of people, as he has done before. And maybe that's not the right approach for a television audience. But that can be adjusted. And I still think that there are lots of moments that are really nice. Like he kind of, I think at one point when he's saying, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," he kind of falls back, being love struck, and then he gets picked up by a dancer. And he's really magnetic. He has such great stage presence that it's enjoyable to watch. At least I just hope again that they can find a way to tone down the movement in some areas, so that we can have those peaks and valleys that are needed. It's fine. I know that this is maybe not to your taste, but I'm wondering, has this warmed up on you at all?
Be kind.
Well, I'm always kind, but I'm just not the biggest fan of this. What I would say is that the staging did really fit the song. Like, I'm not a fan of the song, but the staging was really good for the song. I think he moves a lot, he dances a lot, which really fits the song as well. It's kind of like the vibe of the music video, kind of the same colors. Yeah, the only thing that he does dance a lot, which kind of impacts his vocals. Like yesterday, there was Roxanne's vocals that were really impacted by her moving a lot, and I think today it was Benny Cristo. But I mean, he can definitely improve that before the second semi-final. Whereas his qualifying chances, even though I'm not a big fan of this song, I think it does have a big chance of qualifying.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that could help is the fact that, especially because now we're feeling like Estonia's performance is a bit empty, this could help pick up things where it might have dropped off in that area. I am still a little bit concerned about the qualifying potential, but that has more to do with the fact that I've never seen the Eurovision audience warm up to a song like this, but we also haven't really had a song like this yet. So my hope is that they can do it. And I also hope that for the first time, the Czech Republic gets a score that is even on both sides, or at least closer to it, because usually they're on extreme ends. Marky Mark saying, I think Benny elevates a song with his exuberant personality, and he will do well with the televote. Not sure about jury love, though. Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way, but hopefully it's different. Ry Bailey saying he liked Ben Christovau's song last year more. Verotsik, but who won't qualify? I'm more curious about, because even the non-qualifiers are getting stronger. It's really difficult to say which will qualify and which won't. I'm not feeling North Macedonia. Fair enough. North Macedonia is, of course, in a different semifinal, but your point is taken. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything more to say about Czech Republic.
Actually, there is.
Not
I
really.
would have liked the storyline from the music video just as Estonia, but maybe like Czech Republic even more, that they have the 4 backing dancers and himself and then the woman, and maybe that the woman is just passing by the whole time. That's it, and then he's like, "Ooh, I like her" and stuff. Maybe that the message of the song comes across even more, because now I'm not that sure if that's the case. Yeah.
Well, I'll say again, I loved this music video. It was just a lot of fun, and you could tell that he was having fun doing it. I don't think that it does compromise the message of the song, because I feel like the song is so accessible that it's not going to get lost on anyone. Because I mean, I don't know what the average, somebody who's not like a native English speaker, or maybe speaks very little English. I don't know if saying like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful" is going over someone's head. But I don't know. Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe it's just, because a lot of people are recognizing the energy, the feeling of fun, and I think that is definitely working in their favor. But now let's move on to Greece, because we've already had lots of people wanting to talk about Greece. Have any of you seen this in full, or should I walk us through?
I have seen this snippet only.
I've just seen the snippet.
All right. So this is another one of those entries where there was a lot of buzz. It was teased as something that's never been done before on the Eurovision stage. And to be honest, I haven't completely figured it out myself, because obviously we don't see the structure of all the elements. But there is the higher moments of this song include a chroma key effect, where Stefania is immersed in this, it's not really futuristic. It's kind of like retro future backdrop, and something that fits the 80s vibe. Lots of pink, maybe a little bit of blue, but like pink and purple definitely. And the dancers that she's with, their skin tone is chroma keyed out, so you just see their clothes, and they're almost like invisible men, right? It's very, very eye catching. The thing is, it's quite calculated right now, which it might be coming off that way because, again, this is a first rehearsal, and the performers are all about finding their marks. But I do think that because there's this kind of performance is so calculated that it might not be to everyone's taste. I do think that this is going to work great for a Eurovision audience, and vocally speaking, she was pretty good. Maybe missed a few notes here and there, but that's not a make or break thing. And to be at that level right now is great as far as I'm concerned. So that's all I know. Fawn, tell me, what do you think about Greece and Stefania?
Well, from what I've seen and heard, I think vocally, like, she was pretty much like the studio version. She was very good. Outfit, amazing. I'm not sure how to feel on the backing dancers' outfits, but that's probably going to change with the effects, because also they are going to project the effects of the music video. At one point, it's like light beams coming out of the people in the music video. I thought they were going to do the same in the performance.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I haven't seen that, and it's possible that they just haven't integrated that yet.
Yeah.
It might not be something that they were even trying to do at this point in the rehearsals. But yeah, I think right now it's more about getting the meat and bones down, and it's possible that we might see that later on.
And I also didn't see the stairs on the video.
The stairs are there. It's yeah.
Okay.
We were talking about how this does have a moment that feels very reminiscent of Sergei Lazarev, because she climbs some stairs in the chroma key moment and then she leans back, which I think people are going to like. But and what's happening there is that one of those chroma keyed dancers is supporting her. Yeah, so it's very eye catching and very entertaining. So I think that this is definitely a great opportunity for Greece. Dominic, what are you feeling about this one?
Well, it was one of my favorite songs already, and it's not getting worse based on this performance, I would say. I like the outfit. I was a bit surprised that it's in that color, but like it's very popping, and glitter, like purple and glitter is like a lot, but it suits her, so that's fine. I think vocally she was great, and it's the first rehearsal, so preserve your voice. Yeah. I like the fact that I have heard like it's like basically like Just Dance, like you only see the figure out of it and they're dancing in the background or something. And I think, yeah, and I think that's one thing that hasn't been done yet. So they weren't lying about it. And I can imagine that this might be like an eye catcher or maybe a point to attach on. Like, Greece, what was that again? Ah, the Just Dance thing. I remember it, you know? So I think that's gonna be in their favor. And that's a very smart move. I'm not sure though, because like the music video had a lot of Greek elements. Is there any element in the performance?
Do you mean as far as like the thing that I picked up on was the guy holding up the pillar? Yeah, because that kind of it's reminiscent of Greek statues. No, there really isn't any of that, I would say. And if there is something that they're going to incorporate later, we obviously haven't seen it yet.
Yes, which is unusual, because Greece is known for having some kind of Greek element. I think 2019 was the very first time without any connection to it, I think. So I was kind of expecting that, but it doesn't hurt the performance at all. It's just unexpected, especially after this music video. But on the other hand, like the song itself doesn't have any Greek elements, so it makes sense to get rid of it if it's not like suiting. Like on the other hand, it shouldn't be like forced, like, oh, we're Greece, we have to include something Greek. And they didn't do that, and that's good because I think it comes across as very like organic, like it's like a good package, and it doesn't make sense to say, oh, Greek, put some Greek in it. Like,
well,
maybe for the next year they can do that again.
The thing is, I think that now that I've seen a number of entries going into the past few years, I think that Greece had kind of boxed themselves into that corner, and it became an expectation, and they're trying to, because eventually it wasn't working for them, and they've been trying to get away from that. I mean, that might not be worth anything, but that's the observation that I've made. Let's get to some of these comments, because I know that some people are really excited about this. Sarah Halloran, I think you can be pretty confident, barring any kind of incident, or let's hope not. But I think that in terms of the effort that's being put in, it's very promising. Am Rifki saying Greece now climbs up chance-wise, another winning contender, maybe even Athens 2022. I wouldn't go that far personally. Fond, would you see this as a winner?
I mean, I haven't seen the on-screen effects, but I personally love the song. A winner, I don't know, top 5, maybe.
Okay. Euroboy 4 giving some confidence to Sarah Halloran. You're all saying, for what it's worth, it seems everyone, save Moldova and Azerbaijan, are bringing their A game for staging this year. We'll get to Moldova. And Amricky also saying Greece got the loudest applause from the press so far, the small press room. Nicola asking, how was Serbia? We will get to Serbia. We're still at Greece. And we now move on to Austria. I guess maybe should I walk us through this as well?
Sure.
All right. Cool. Normally I have Jess here to offset things, but Jess isn't available today. But Austria is doing things very tastefully. Vincent is on a elongated platform. It starts with this really beautiful opening shot of him backlit in a profile, like framed in profile, and there's a little bit of smoke to fill out the screen. It's kind of like one of those sweeping shots that slowly pulls in front of him. And it sets the mood perfectly. And then what we see going forward is lots of darkness, lots of drama. But it's one of those like less is more approaches that does things right. And he's got great vocals at this point. Yeah, we did a reaction today, Tommy and and I said that this one to me has improved the most from, because I wasn't personally very warm on the song, and I don't know how the two of you feel about it, but I do think that the decisions that they've made as far as visuals go is like they're all the right decisions, and although it would definitely not be safe, I feel like the people who maybe find Greece a little bit too kishy could possibly like this better. Svan, how do you feel about Austria?
I'm not that big on the song myself. I think it's a bit bland and repetitive. However, it has improved for me with the staging because I think it really fits. It's really beautiful. His voice is amazing. I also really love his suit. Like it's simple, but it works. It's classy. It's really beautiful. I love that he's standing on like a platform. I think at some point it also goes like this, like not really like this, but kind of like that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out because it does look like there's some elevation, like that it's on an incline, but it might also just be the camera angles.
Yeah.
But it's an element that really works in its favor, because we do see some use of platforms by other acts, but this one just has a lot of depth. It's also using lights from behind the LED walls, so they're opened, and it's very simple. And again, it suits the song. Anyway, sorry, I kind of cut you off. If there's more that you want to say.
Well, I just wanted to say that like I cannot really imagine any other like vibrant or big staging with big dancers for this. Like it's just him singing his song really beautifully with his great voice. Like it works. I don't think there's not more to say about it for me.
Mm-hmm. Dominic, because you, like me, have Austrian roots, I'm curious, how do you feel about this song? And based on what you've seen, have your opinions changed today?
I'm happy about the staging because it's really appropriate to the song. Like, what else were you expecting? Like, you weren't expecting a Benny Cristo staging. Like, yeah. So I'm happy. I think it elevates the performance, but I must say you really have to compare it to Austria 2018. Like that was the first thing which came into my mind. Like, oh, Caesar staging incoming. Like, of course, on a different level because it's not as high as Caesar has been, but it really fits. I like the outfit, even though it's glitter again. So I just mentioned like there's a lot of glitter going on in the outfits, even for the men, which is cool. His vocals were great. I was really impressed by it. I think that was one of the strongest vocal performance so far, at least from the ones I've seen. I think it's quite jury bait. Also with the staging, like you are ticking all the boxes, like yeah, juries might like it. Like I think it's one of the rare performances without LED usage, right?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. So not using LED is now something like memorable. Like a few years ago, it was the other way around. Now it's like, oh, no LED, okay, you know.
Yeah, because that is it's the common approach, and I think that because we see so many acts coming in with a very heavy reliance on LEDs, it does help if you're still able to create an image, but not using that. And because sometimes you can try and do that, and it will just feel empty. But again, it comes down to just knowing the right way to fill the space and to position the subject, which is Vincent at all times. There's no other element here that acts as the focal point. It's showing of somebody who actually understands the best way to make use of very little. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think it's like Estonia isn't that good in doing it. Like the stage comes across as empty, and for Austria, it comes across as full, even though it's pretty black and it's just Vincent, you know. So I really think they are doing it better, and yeah, I don't have anything to improve, at least from the snippets that once I've seen. Is there anything you would change?
No, I think.
There you go.
Well, I mean, personally, again, because this isn't a song that I really like, but I think he's a great performer. So the thing that I would change would be the song. But that's just me. And there are lots of people on Team Eurovoxx who really like this song. So I think it has better chances than before. But again, like it's not a lock. We still have to see the other half of semifinal 2. And I think between the two songs in this half that are somber ballads, being Amen and The Lucky One, this one's definitely doing it better. And if one of the two were to make it through, I would definitely say it would be Austria rather than Estonia. But I could be wrong. And we have Sarah O'Halloran saying Austria really delivered. Hello to Karen's, nice to see you. Another day is finished, and I just want to pop up and say hi. Top 3 of today are Iceland, Greece, and Serbia. And he says that he's disappointed about the Estonian staging. So maybe we'll find some people who felt like Estonia did things in all the right ways, like Austria. But that seems to be the recurring thought. Who knows? Maybe it will become more elaborate later on. Gerald's saying the act is unique in that it uses neither LEDs nor overlays nor any other stage antics. Also less reliance on backing vocals too. And it's about as raw of a performance as we might get this year. Yeah, and this is kind of the approach that I was hoping that North Macedonia would have. But I mean, it's in a different semifinal, so we'll leave it there. And obviously things could change for that one. After Austria was Poland. And I'll get to the in-depth description a little bit later, but let's start with you, Tvan. Your thoughts on Poland?
Well, first of all, the song, not a big fan of the song. Second of all, him, I'm not really feeling his vibe in the performance. His vocals are okay, not really anything special, not really anything spectacular, not bad. It fits, the staging fits the song. I'm not sure how to feel on the smoke, because there's a lot of smoke on stage. I'm not sure how to feel on that. But apart from that, yeah, I don't really think there's anything special or anything really bad about this. I'm not sure if this will qualify. I would say it is a non-qualifier, to be honest.
I would say currently as well, it does seem like a non-qualifier because things just aren't coming together. Whether or not you've seen the full take, as some of us have, if you've seen the music video, then you can more or less expect that concept on stage because it's very similar choreography, really same aesthetics as well. We're getting the bi lighting again, the blue, pink, and purple. And the talking point about this one was he going to wear sunglasses? And let me tell you guys, there is a surprise here because he comes out in sunglasses, but he takes them off for the second verse.
Wow.
Yeah.
12 points.
Yeah. and then he puts them back on. But yeah, so yeah, so I have to say, yeah, things just aren't really coming together with this one. I don't want to write it off because there are good elements that I see in terms of the songwriting. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be served very well by the staging, by the vocal performance. Dominic, do you feel any differently about this?
Okay, I must admit something. I really, really like the song. It's like guilty pleasure alert. So when it comes to me, in terms of the song, would be a sure qualifier, honestly. It has a really nice flow. It's really like a ride for 3 minutes. So the 3 minutes passes by very quickly because like there's always something going on. I just really, really like it and appreciate it. Now to the performance. So I think the look is like as you have expected. Of course, he's wearing a suit, and of course, he's wearing sunglasses. But as you have said, he's changing it up a bit, which is pretty important because I think sunglasses for the whole 3 minutes wouldn't be good, because then it would be like, oh, he comes across as arrogant, I think. And now it's changing a bit, so it's like, oh, okay, I can actually see your face.
Yeah, well, what a lot of people say is that like it seems silly to make such a big deal about sunglasses, but it does really make a difference when connecting to the person because they get in the way of seeing someone's eyes. And I think to even like some of the jobs that I've done where I've had to work outside, and they say that if you ever need to have a serious talk with someone, then you want to take your sunglasses off because otherwise you're coming off as cold. So it seems very nitpicky, but I do believe that it does make a difference. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the right choice to put them on again. So I think in the beginning, having sunglasses and then have something to change. It's like a
Yeah.
dress reveal, but in the face, like, ooh, I put off the glasses. That's fine. But then put it on again doesn't make sense. Like, what's the point about it then?
I
The
feel
base-
like
Yeah.
because it is a cool look, but like show up like that, and then when you start singing, take it off.
Yeah,
So
maybe
that's
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the way you make the entrance, and then don't let it get in the way for the rest of it. But obviously,
Yeah.
it's like, again, let's not make this the flow rida of
I
Poland.
was just about to mention this name. Okay, we're on the same mindset. That's good.
I will say though,
Go ahead, Tom.
that the lights on the hands of the dancers, that's a really cool effect.
It
That's
is,
I was
really
just
cool.
about to say that as well. So hey, the dancers have like a unique element because I think no one else is doing that. And I also like the fact that they're using this for the advantage that the lighting is off basically. So just the light of the backing dancers are shining, I think, at one point in the snippet. So that's a very clever usage of this element. So I think that's something they can, like the audience can remember. So I think the main thing is the vocals. I would say his vocals weren't that great, and I think he has to improve them, especially because it's not that hard to sing. The one thing you can argue about the song is that it's a bit flat, that there isn't like a big like highlight or peak or something.
Yeah.
But that's why I like it, because it has a nice flow and it's not comes across as boring. So you can either say, well, it's boring or it has a nice flow. I'm like the second one, but I would understand like if someone says it's the first one. So then it's even more important to hit the notes or sing like vocally fine because it's not that challenging. You can argue, well, it's a very hard song to sing because it's not. So hey, rehearsal, benefit of the doubt, maybe he will improve, and I really hope he does, because then I wouldn't be surprised if this qualifies. I can see a way for Poland to get through with this.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and look, like, yes, we're being critical here, but it's also because it is a competition, and it's not necessarily to really tear down the performer. It's just, we're trying to look at the sum of all the parts. And I have to say, in this case, it doesn't seem like the parts are coming together. But that obviously might not make a difference anyway, because this could still qualify. This could really come alive on the night of, and that's kind of the magic of television, when sometimes things don't seem to be working in the moment that they have to be working, they do. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else to say about Poland, or shall we move on to Moldova? I believe was next. Yes. So as a Kirkorov project, I think that there were expectations that were set for Moldova that might not have necessarily been met, because I think that some people are feeling a little bit let down. I wouldn't put myself in that category, because I actually am surprised to see something that's toned down. I think one of the things that works really well about this performance is that we have another platform, another spinning platform. And I don't know, I know that before we started, we were trying to figure out if it was the same spinning platform as San Marino's. It's possible that it's different, because I think the one for San Marino was longer. Yeah,
I think this is more of a rectangular form, and so San Marino was like more longer. Yeah,
and one way that they make use of the platform that I really like is that I think in the second verse you get an overhead angle. The dancers are on their sides, and as the platform is spinning, they're doing this kind of walking motion, and the center of the platform doesn't move. So Natalia is in the center and singing, and it's a very effective visual, and one that doesn't require the crazy elements that maybe some people were expecting about this. Twan, your overall thoughts about Moldova?
Well, first of all, I'm surprised not to see some kind of wall on stage, because it's Kirkorov staging. However, I'm pleasantly surprised, because I think the staging does fit the song really well. I like the fact that they're on the spinning platform as well. Their vocals were pretty good. Not bad, not amazing either. They do for the song. I like the dancers. I like the fact that they are doing the same choreography as in the music video, because that iconic choreography, that is the one that everyone will remember. I am sad that there are no dancing ice creams on stage. That would have been really good. That would have been a moment to remember. And I
Let's just-
love her dress.
Let's just throw this up right now. Oh, I meant to put this one up. Rye Bailey saying disappointed no dancing ice creams. I feel like maybe if they came out as dancing ice creams, but then revealed the dancers underneath, I could probably get with that. But who knows? Again, there might be more elements that we see later on. I do think that dancing ice creams is a little too much because those were CGI. I'm pretty sure in the music video.
Really? Oh,
I think they wwere CGI.
glass shattering.
But anyway, Dominic, your thoughts about Moldova?
Yeah, so love it. I think like she's doing what she's supposed to do, like having the focus on the choreography, which is pretty iconic, as Tran has already said. I like the element of the spinning wheel. I think they're using it very effectively, as you have said, Stu. So yeah, I'm happy that it's not too much. That sometimes less is more, even though it's a lot and it's Moldova, but it's not like too much. I have the feeling that sometimes it's overwhelming. And for this, I don't think that's the case. So yeah, and I think also the dress is really suiting her well, even though it's glitter again, yay. But yeah, the only thing which was a bit like, I don't know, weird for me is, especially for this, because she's doing a lot of dancing, or at least the performance includes a lot of dancing. Why do you have a microphone in your hand? I mean, you can have this headpiece instead, because then you would be more freely to do all the hand choreography and stuff. I would have
think
preferred
that's
that.
I think because her last note is very long and loud. I think it's because of that. Because if she
Yes.
had like a microphone like this, the note wouldn't come out right.
Is she doing that though the whole time? The long note, because there's some overlapping to the singing, I think. So I was expecting that the backing vocalist is doing that.
The long note.
Sure.
The long note is a moment. She was holding back as she should because it is a long note, and I don't know what the record is for longest note ever held.
Albania.
I think it's
2017. Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. Do you know how long it was?
34 seconds or
30
something.
something. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Something with 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think this beats it. No, I don't think
Nah.
so. I think this is around 20.
Okay, but still, like,
Solid.
oh, it's
It's
just
long.
20 seconds. 20 seconds of a long note, as if that's nothing. No, but it is a moment, and I think the reasons that you outlined, Fawn, it could be exactly that she needs to make that distance because she was doing it as far as like positioning the microphone in that way, but she wasn't singing the note because obviously she doesn't need to at this point. But yeah, I think the reason why this is underwhelming for people is because the music video was so elaborate and so colorful and the kind of thing that we expect from a song that's called Sugar, right? SP is asking, is Dominic German?
Ja, ich bin Deutsch, danke.
Rye Bailey's saying she gives me Kylie Minogue vibes, but also says disappointed. Oh yeah, we already established that. Jarrell's saying Moldova was quite reserved, which for such a relatively weak song might not be quite enough. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of. I mean, again, it's early, but I know that people want to know qualification odds, so we do our best. I wouldn't rule it out, but perhaps. Perhaps maybe not the kind of, because I think that a lot of people were expecting the staging to be the factor that cemented its qualification odds.
She's 7th in the odds for the semi, so it's like
I would
sure.
to be honest, I wouldn't call it a safe qualifier. I would definitely call it possible.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it will really depend on her vocals on the live night. Because if she delivers like this, I'm not sure. But I have faith that she could really deliver. So,
yeah, I don't know. I guess we should just leave it there because there's more to come and anything could happen. I believe we're moving on to Iceland now and then ending with Serbia. I hope that, because I know that some people were asking about these two specifically, so I hope that they've stuck around. So when Iceland had come on to do the rehearsal, it seemed that some people in the online press room were seeing it in full with no issues, and some people who were perhaps a little bit geographically further from Rotterdam were having some issues, as I was. I caught a few things here and there. The most notable thing I would say is that we see some enhanced instruments, because you know the little DIY instruments that the three backing dancers have been given. So what they've done is they're holding them throughout the entire performance, and they're all pieces of a 360 keyboard, I believe. So it's possible that there's some change-ups, but what I saw is when we get that instrumental break, they come together, they're back to back, the three of them, and the pieces of their instruments link together, which is really cool, I think. And yeah, I mean, the visuals, it's mostly what we expected as far as getting those 8-bit images. For those who don't know, Daddy Frere has put out 2 video games with him as the star, and so the video game aesthetic is definitely something that we expected. We've got new outfits as well. They're not the same ones that we saw in the music video, but as we would expect, we also got the dance moves that we were introduced to with that first performance. Let's first say hello to Jessica, who's joining us right now. Nice to see you. Dominic, tell me, what are your thoughts on Iceland?
Okay, so hearing that they are changing quite a lot is surprising, because I was expecting kind of the same performance they have done for the music video, which was basically like a live performance. I was expecting like the dance moves, because they are pretty distinctive, and as well as this 8-bit theme, because that's what he's doing. Like, yeah. And also that he's making some references to last year, because I think last year's song was one of the most successful in terms of success outside of Eurovision, which didn't happen, because I have heard it in several countries that it was quite successful without having the Eurovision brand on it, it was like independent, and it makes sense that you rely a bit on it, having the same aesthetic, and some dance moves are quite similar. So that is logical and smart. I would say about the song in general that last year was stronger than this one. Doesn't mean that is in any danger of qualifying, because I think it still does. I must say I haven't seen anything from the snippet, because it wasn't published yet when we started this live stream. But I think he's very confident with the cameras, because he has performed quite a lot already, especially because of the success route he has done with Think About Things.
Yeah.
So I don't have any worries that his stage presence and everything will be on point.
Yeah, and especially in terms of uniqueness, I expect that because this is another one of those songs that has a bit of an 80s sound to it, that we might get some of those same colors, and even like the kind of aquamarine green jumpsuits, not jumpsuits, but you know what I mean. That they've always got that shade of green. The pinks and blues and purples, those would complement that as well. So I mean, it might be another one of those entries that has that repetition, but that aside, this doesn't get confused with anything else. And a lot of the things that you mentioned as well, Dominic, the fact that this song had such a big success regardless of Eurovision, does say something about the fact that people who recognize him and at least enjoy the song will most likely vote for this. And so, yeah, I don't have any doubts either about qualifications. Maybe Twan feels differently. Twan, how do you feel about Iceland?
So as most of you may know, I'm not the biggest fan of this song. Like, I don't really like it. It's just not. I can acknowledge that it's a okay song, but it's just not my type at all. The performance fits the song, even though it's not my type either. I'm more a fan of the glittery, over the top, like really classical performances. I don't really like the outfits, like they fit, but I'm not a big fan of them. I like the instrument, the thing that they're doing with the instruments, though. I think that's really clever. I think the use of the translucent screen is also very clever. And the one part that I like in this song is the intro. That's a very good intro.
Use of strings.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing in the performance because I haven't seen that, but I really like that part. But whereas qualifying, I honestly have doubts. I am not sure. I don't think jury will like this at all. and I'm not sure how Televote will take this. But let's see. I don't know. I hope to be proven wrong because I like him as a person and I like the band. Like I like that his wife is in there and his sister. Like it's just really fun and really nice to see. But I'm just not a fan.
Fair enough. I I definitely have my doubts about about those points of view, but obviously I like to believe that anything is on the table and anything, just as much as anyone can surprise us, we always get our share of flops. I would definitely hope that it wouldn't be this one, because I think that one of the best things about this performance and Daddy and Gagna Magnid as a group is the fact that this is like a family affair. And it's got a DIY element to it that is endearing and not cheap, because obviously DIY can can come off as cheap, but obviously the cheesiness of it works. I think that this has a lot of aspects that people will definitely really appreciate, and it's it's definitely a song that I like as well. Maybe I'm biased, but I would be surprised to not see this in the final, and I'm not going to think about the possibility of it not being there. Neil Era is showing some love for Iceland as well. I don't know. I guess should we move on to Serbia now?
That's the last one, isn't it?
It is the last one. What do we know about Serbia?
I saw the photos
Okay,
that are on the Eurovision site.
Tell us about the
and
photos.
It's basically them three in amazing black sparkly outfits. They're like more kind of jumpsuits, and Senya is wearing a very short dress. And I think the beginning of the performance is like black and white, and then the end of the performance it turns more colorful. And Sanya slayed the high note. I did hear the footage. Sanya slayed the high note. The vocals were absolutely amazing. I'm a big fan of this song myself. I love the outfits. I love like their stage presence. Like they just fill the stage. They don't need anything else. Them dancing just fills the stage. Qualifier, definitely yes. I think it's a safe qualifier. Final potential, I'm not sure. Maybe top 10, but that will depend on whether people will think this is too much. Because I can see why people think this is too much. And especially with the like local being projected on the screen very big. But I would love to see this doing very well because I am in love. I love this.
Yeah, I don't want to, because obviously, again, we were having issues, and unlike Iceland, where I saw little bits and pieces, I didn't see a thing of this because of technical issues. So I don't want to throw anything out there that would be false or misleading, and just say that I have nothing to go off of apart from the song, which everybody has had for over a month now. Dominic, anything that you'd like to say about Serbia?
Yeah, so Serbia, I have seen the thumbnail at least. So they're also having this glitter thing. So
more than I've seen personally.
Yeah, so I think the glitter count just based on these 9 are like 5, which is like wow, that's a lot of glitter. Yeah, so no surprise that Senya is doing the high notes, because I wouldn't like say something which is not obvious. Like she has the best voice, I would say. Doesn't mean that the other ones don't have a good voice, but I think if you really compare them, I think she's like the leading singer, which makes sense. But I think their harmonies, at least from the performances I have seen, are very, very good. So they blend in together very well. And I hope that's the case here.
Can I add as well that
Yes.
In the pre-parties, we saw some performances from there, and I thought that they were really great, because they are one of those groups where people have casted some doubt on their vocal abilities, and based on those performances, I felt a lot more confident in them and what they're going to bring on stage. But obviously, I have to see it on the stage itself, and anything can happen. But I just wanted to throw it out there that for the naysayers, we've seen good potential here. But anyway, please continue.
Yeah, so I have seen an acoustic version and I really like that, but I don't expect an acoustic version here. I expect a lot of dancing, and then it's about stamina again. Can they keep the vocals while performing? We have seen with some other examples that sometimes they struggle with it, and I hope that's not the case here, because otherwise it may across as cheap. So there's a danger when it's like, oh, at least I'm dancing, the vocals, like, they're not important. Then it's like maybe you should hold back, maybe add a dancer and then stick to the vocals a bit more. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if that's gonna be the case. I must say, I have Serbia like as a potential shocking non-qualifier for some reason. There's something about it which is like blank of jury. I have the feeling that the televote will be pretty high, but I think I can see like a very low jury score, like 10 or 15 points, really.
Mhm.
To
So
be honest,
I
I
see,
think that the jury will really appreciate both Sanya's vocals and the harmonies that they're doing. Because, in my opinion, they're all three are amazing vocalists. Yeah, Sanya is a bit better, but I think juries can really appreciate that.
Mhm.
yeah, the thing about the vocals, like they are all musicians, so I kind of expect them to have good vocals at least. So I wouldn't say that the vocal is that significant that this is the reason why I'm gonna vote for this. I would say there are other performers, for example, Destiny. I think she's the one like vocal. This is one big reason to vote for her. I wouldn't say that about Hurricane, to be honest. Maybe about the whole package, having good harmonies and the performance itself. That may be a reason, but just based on the vocals, I'm not that sure about it. I prefer Hasta la Vista. Maybe that's why I'm a bit like, of course, you compare these songs together as I did with Iceland. So maybe that's why I'm a bit preserved about it. But it's not like I dislike the song. I like the song. It's catchy. I see the appeal. Um, I wouldn't be that sure about the qualifications. So then
Mhm.
maybe it finished like 8th or 9th, but I don't see it as a very comfortable like 3rd or 4th in the result. I don't see that happening here.
Well, one of the things that you mentioned, Vaughn, which we discussed in an earlier video, is the fact that it is a lot, right? And what we were teased with before we saw anything was the fact that they said that they were going to make full use of all three stages. So it sounded like they were going to dump a lot into the visual aspect of it as well. So obviously you're walking a fine line between having something that is like fun and wacky and something that is a bit overwhelming, especially since like semifinal one, lots of up-tempo songs in this semi, and it might perhaps they benefit from being in the first half for the fact that maybe people will feel more exhausted towards the end. But I do feel like this is going to be a factor here, that when you have so many songs that are up-tempo, the audience might just not feel like they have a moment to breathe. And maybe that's another reason why I feel more confident about entries like Austria. But nonetheless, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was going to say that I think this song is one that in particular really benefits from the running order, because it is in between Iceland and Georgia, and well, that song will really, really, really stand out, and people will really remember it from being the up-tempo song with the three girls in the sparkly outfits singing and screaming and dancing a lot. And I think
Yes.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like there's lots of elements here that help it stand out. I suppose it's one of those things where they could potentially be standing out for the wrong reasons. Like, if let's say the vocals suffer, or if let's say it's just way too much, then maybe people might be a bit turned off from it. But obviously there's lots of love for this entry. We always see lots of love for Serbia's entry. So let's bring in a Serbian here. Nicholas saying their backing vocalist is from 2018's entry. Let us know the name, because I was actually rewatching 2018 not too long ago, and I kind of like that entry. I think I don't know how the fans feel about it, because I wasn't a fan back then. But
Love it.
You love it?
I love it.
How do you feel, Dominic?
I think I appreciate it, but I think it was kind of surprising. I think it was like it wasn't that expected, and then it's like Serbia. I was like, okay, good for them, and I appreciate it because it brings a variety to the contest for sure. But it's very, very different. So it's interesting that they are using the same backing vocalists for this song and then from 2018, because they're so different.
They are different, yeah. I remember the two things that I liked about that was, one, especially the female dancer who was singing, kind of like chanting and offsetting the male. Sorry, did I say dancer? The female singer who was offsetting the male singer. And I also really liked how they kind of positioned themselves in this tableau, like it was kind of like a tableau performance where, you know, they did a pose and they held it for a little while and then they moved very slowly and did another pose. It was different, especially in a year where you couldn't depend on LEDs. Nicholas saying that I think that juries will either love it or hate it. They could love Sanya's vocals and harmonies. Yeah, this one's just a big question mark, I would say. Brian Madden, there was a lot of backing vocals on the track, and saying he's a member of Balkania. Nicola is telling us, the bald guy with the beard. Oh yes, so he was also there in 2019, I believe.
Isn't he called Mladen?
Mladen, possibly.
I think it's called Mladen. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, there you go. He was also a backing for Serbia. He's like kind of like a starting back. I really liked 2019 as well from Serbia. That was one of my favorite ballads from that year. But so we've come to the end now of what we've seen so far for day 3. Let's talk highlights. Those of you who are in the live chat, let us know which performance was a real standout for you. Beginning with you, Dominic, which was your favorite from today?
Can I name 2?
Of course. No one's gonna hold your tongue. Name 2.
Okay, so San Marino is one of my favorites. Even without Florida. And Moldova was really impressive. I really liked that.
Okay, it's fun. How about you?
I'm gonna say Serbia, San Marino, and also Greece.
And Greece as well.
Yeah. I'll say that I really like the ambition of Greece's performance, because, you know, it's something different. And yeah, I think that it's serving something that the Eurovision audience is going to eat up. And yeah, but for me, it's got to be Benny Cristo. Even though I'm not 100% sure on whether or not it will qualify. I like the fact that he's just got such energy and charisma that you can take it all in. Sarah O'Halloran is asking, what is the best song to dance to? What do you guys think?
Amen. Kidding.
Right.
I love doing the sugar dance because 1, it's easy, and 2, it's fun.
Yeah, I have to say, in the music video, I wasn't liking it as much. There's this moment with the ice cream dancers where she does this like,
Iconic.
Yeah. I didn't really like, but I don't know. It's just nitpicking.
I don't think she's gonna do that on the spinning platform because that would be a bit too risky.
The thing is, I was looking for that move specifically, and I'm glad that they didn't do it. But yeah, well, it's not what people expected, but I like the fact that Moldova is toning it down a little bit. That wasn't the question though. Sarah Halloran was asking which is the best song to dance to, and for me it would be Czech Republic because I like that song. Joanne Johnson was most impressed by San Marino. Milos, okay, we'll answer this again. Do we see Serbia as qualifying? Again, for me it's a big question mark. Tvan's pretty confident, yes. And Dominic, you're on the fence?
Yeah, borderline.
Okay. And also saying that they liked Greece, Iceland, and Serbia. So, I mean, it's been a bit of a long chat. It's been a long day. So we're glad that we were able to catch you all up on that. And we'd love to have you back for more live discussions and more videos where we have Andy, Clara, and Tommy. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Jess. I'm just in such a habit of saying Jess. But they are in Rotterdam at Ahoy, and they are talking to as many artists as we can. Obviously, with the circumstances, people are being a bit distant, but we've had a lot of people be very generous with us. And so there's lots of interviews to come. So we'd love for you to subscribe to Eurovoxx, whether or not it's to watch one of those, to watch one of our rehearsal reactions, or these live chats. We will be on again later today at the end of the evening to just talk about our general thoughts, and we'll catch up with Andy, Clara, and Tommy, and they can let us in on some of the things that they've seen. I hope you guys are enjoying the Eurovision experience so far, because it's kind of hard to believe that it's already underway. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd love to see you again. But until then, take care.
Bye-bye.